Hello and welcome to ADHD True Colors podcast. My name is Michaela.
And I'm Rorick.
The last D in ADHD stands for disorder. How does this make you feel? And if you had the choice, would you label yourself like that?
As D?
As D? D as in disorder?
As D.
As the disorder?
As D disorder.
As-
D from disorder and D from disease and disaster and damage.
Uh-huh. We can go on for a little while with adding like not so good associations coming from the word D.
Yeah. I think the last D is when you get a diagnosis, then it helps to understand, I think. But the problem sometimes is how people start to use the label ADHD. From the positive side, it is like a category. Like if you want to play football, you have these all different types of players a game or team needs. And you have to have some aspects of a category to be placed in a category. And that makes the team function. So in this way, it's nice to have a category where my brain fits in. On the other hand, if the partner or school teacher or boss starts using this last D as a disorder, as a disease, as something like to label you why you can't do whatever, then I think it can be a problem. I think it's almost the same for you. Like you have you're not blind, but you're not having eyes like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, you could call your problem also a disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Just meaning like you're not in this class order from people who are having a normal sight, and that helps.
Yeah, this is.
I think.
I agree with you that there is, as in ADHD, before the diagnosis and after the diagnosis, signifying that if you don't understand what's going on, you try to label it no matter what, but you just don't get it right. And I, in any ways, I think everybody does we make a lot of mistakes and misjudgments, and make people feel really bad about themselves and ashamed. And this is the big change after getting a diagnosis: is that, oh, okay, I get it. When I saw my first podcast on ADHD by Dr. Hallowell, I was crying and laughing at the same time, because it was like the pieces of the puzzle fell together. It matched. Not that everything was solved or solved.
Solved.
The pieces fell together like a puzzle, that suddenly the whole image was complete and comprehensible. This didn't mean that in one thing the whole problem was solved, but actually we stopped. I think I didn't experience it as a problem anymore, and there was a way for acceptance. Now you just said you made a remark about my sight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I was a kid, because I was born with achromatopsia, which is a genetic caused disease causing high light sensitivity, color blindness, and a very low sight quality in general, like about 10% of normal view. When I was a small kid, I very soon adapted a coping mechanism to ignore and deny the fact that I had this visual deficiency. I would hide my sunglasses somewhere in the garden before we had to go out. And I felt really ashamed and bothered when people asked me about the way I see things, or because I squint with my eyes, and they would say, "Oh, what is the problem with you? Are you blind?" And then I would have to explain that I was not blind, but it bothered me, and I was ashamed about it.
But you also did dangerous things just to
Yeah,
cover up.
yeah. Even when I was a teenager, and going out in the world and getting to know, making friends and meeting people and falling in love and all that kind of stuff, and I would like take enormous risks to cross the street. I would just like, okay, I think I don't hear anything, and then I would make a run for it, and there was a bus or a heavy lorry like passing right behind me. So
Luckily, in these days, we didn't have EVs.
Yeah, that was probably saved my life. I mean, EVs, I wouldn't even hurt them in the last minute, I used to hide myself behind old ladies to cross the street, because I would keep them in the direction of where the traffic would come, and then I would stay in pace. It would be very slow, but at least I was sure that before I would get hit, they would get hit. Is there anything that you did as an ADHD to hide your, let's say, quirks? Or is there no? You were always.
Do I have quirks? I didn't know I had quirks. No, I think it's normal to hide, especially when there's a punishment. Right behind the corner and even in front of you. So yeah, of course we hide. If when we want to jump up. For me, for example, it was like I think it started when I was 11 or 12 or something. Sleeping didn't work. Sleep didn't come as easily as when I was a small child. So my parents normally went to bed around 12 o'clock or something. And I started like getting out of bed about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I could stay up and do whatever I wanted to do. The only thing I had to do was like go ninja mode. Like I had to be quiet. But it also meant that when I was 13 or 14 that I was really exhausted every morning when I was at school. Because I didn't sleep from 1 till 4 or 5. Because I liked to write and to draw stuff in. Especially in these days, it was with MTV. It was the beginning of MTV. So there was so much art and stuff coming on TV, 24 on 24. And so all night I could watch MTV, listen with headphones, and draw and make big paintings and all quiet, because our house wasn't big enough to have it all. I didn't have a room to myself. So that's for example. And in a way, it also helped me to avoid conflict with teachers, because I was every morning so tired. I just took the in the back of the classroom a place, put my head down, and I slept for an hour sometimes. Yeah. So I was very quiet. Even as a hyperactive, I was quiet.
Yeah.
Especially in the morning.
Catching up sleep.
Yeah. Of course, it caused a lot of other troubles.
Yeah. What would you consider the worst things that you were blamed for or accused of and felt accordingly ashamed about or bothered?
I think the thing that hurt the most was when they called me lazy. Because for me, in my heart, I had been working all night, and then I was sleeping in the morning. So they said I was lazy, but I always wanted to become an artist. So for me, I was working, and everybody said, "No, you're lazy because you can't do this and you don't do that, and you didn't make your homework and stuff like that." But for a very long time, I just paid for my homework. There were some people in the class who liked to make homework, and I just said, like, here's some money, make my homework.
Okay.
And then, I mean, that helped me to end school.
Yeah.
Not the easy way, but I mean, I got through it.
I get it.
But laziness is was the most painful.
Yeah.
And maybe also I can't trust you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, also.
Yeah. How would you, if possible, redefine the word disorder in a way that it makes more sense?
I can love with the attention deficit, okay, then hyperactive, okay, which has luckily become a little bit more under control just by aging. But the disorder, for me, the D is literally the opposite of order. I don't like order. I don't like rules. I don't like so many. So if people say like, see the disorder in my behavior, it just means like I don't have everything in the same place all the time. Not everything is in order, organized. Although a lot of things are in my head quite well organized. Most of the time I know where I put things. I can lose things because I put them down and I don't think about it. But every time when I think about it, I don't have problems finding them.
Yeah.
So disorder is, for me, is just like disorder is a synonym for chaos, and sometimes living with me can be living in chaos.
Yeah, but on the other hand, to be honest, I think you can make a metaphor of neurotypicals as being like a slow, broad river on which it is ideal to learn sailing or fishing or I don't know, just
Swimming.
Or swimming. Yeah, it's a great place to learn swimming. Whereas ADHD is like a wild, roaring river, but like more adventurous. You can go. You can't take a raft on a slow river. I mean that's not gonna be any fun at all.
Yeah, kayaking on a lake is
It's
boring.
Putting things in the right category. Disorder is often seen together or in the same category as dysfunctional, but especially since we have the diagnosis, I don't agree with this, because knowing who a person is and how his or her brain works makes this person super functional. Because you know what I know now, what your strong points are, and that it's the measure that we use being society. I think it's the wrong measure, because your qualities are not in the order of things of the system.
But also the problem with disorder is that it comes from a book like this, and it lists all the disorders you can find. I think the problem with disorder coming out of a medical book means like it's close to a disease. And in this book it says like it's when it hinders you in performing tasks or whatever, then it's a disorder. ADHD it's for me much easier to say like these are things that are easy for me and these are things that are not easy for me. And not easy doesn't mean I don't want to do them. It just means like they're not easy. So I have to find ways to do them. And like as you said, your metaphor from the lake and the river. For me, the river is the power. I mean, all the power you have in a white water river is, I mean, it's speed. It turns in a lot of directions, and that's what's happening in my brain too. But my creativity can turn in a lot of direction and still staying on the same subject,
Mm-hmm.
which I couldn't do before.
One thing that comes to mind is that the difference between, I mean, a real disorder in the way that we see it, we discussed it, is that, I mean, for example, a person who is so is obsessed with something.
Or somebody who wants to commit suicide.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then this person becomes dangerous towards
Mm-hmm.
himself.
And the label disorder makes somebody believe that he or she has to change something in order to be in order. But that's wrong, because it's actually a matter of accepting and understanding and optimizing the qualities of both personalities. That is the real, for me, that's the real power.
I think if you want to have like a line or something, you said like this is a disorder and a disease and blah blah, and this is something positive, although it's different. I think then there's like a law in nature that everything that helps progress a species is something positive, and everything that hinders a species is negative. Then I think being dangerous or not being able to follow this law, and if it's a spiritual law or from nature, it doesn't matter. It's just like you are on this earth, you're created to do something. And that's also I see this ADHD is life is a present.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I have it. I'm alive, and I have it in the. He gave it to me in this form, how I am,
Uh-huh.
and I have to
Honor it?
yeah,
Yeah.
and live it to fullest.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
And I don't. I mean, for me, it's not a disease. I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
fight to it.
Yeah.
And even a disease is a way, is a path you have to take to become. The moment you're healed, it's not just a disease that's cured or whatever. You also, as a person, you are changed,
Uh-huh.
and that's why these things can happen.
Yeah. I think, no, I believe actually, I see it happening that the real thing you need to heal from is not the neurodivergence in itself, but the harm that has been done by people not understanding and judging it. Whereas you accept that and you honor this as something that was given to you as a gift that is valuable and beautiful, and you just need to nourish it, to foster it, and to make it grow. If I look back on our history together, there's two ways of seeing our past, which will define our future. Is one way, oh my God, it was so difficult, it was chaos, it was misunderstanding, it was projects not working, I don't know, reciprocal blame games and all that kind of things. But the other side is, my goodness, I would have never, ever discovered the things about myself without your brains and your curiosity and your ability to connect dots together in ways that I couldn't even imagine that would make sense to put them together. And that is wonderful. That is just an amazing gift. It's I'm grateful and honored to share this with you, and I hope that many people will join our tribe and share your wonderful qualities, because whether you're neurotypical or neurodivergent, we all have had this wonderful gift of life, and it is our opportunity to make something beautiful from it. And I'm so glad that we discovered this. There's a lot of gratitude there.
Yeah, I think the last D for me is not disorder, but diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
so true.
Everything that lives on this planet, there are so many species, there are so many
Uh-huh.
different forms there. I mean, you You can have the same family of plants or trees or whatever, and still they are all different.
Yeah.
And that it's the same with people.
Yep.
We are all different, and it's a little bit sad that this awareness of how my brain works has to come from the medical world. But on the other hand, now I know how my brain works and know that it's normal to be different. But I'm not alone different. And that's a nice thing too.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, this sometimes I had this feeling like, okay, I'm a very special person. I'm an artist. I don't like people. I prefer to be introverted. Um, when I was a kid, I was very shy, and all these things. But for me, it's like a puzzle, and I just made it fits my being lonely with not being normal, and now I can let all these things go. Like I don't have to be shy anymore because I know, because my problem is not my problem. It's a problem that many people like you face. So if somebody else faces it, it means like it's not unique. And if a problem is not unique, there are solutions, and there are solutions from all around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people have the same problem, and they're also successful people with ADHD. Sometimes what I do is like just type in successful people with ADHD, and I'm looking like, is somebody talking the way I do, or thinking the way I do, or have ideas the way I have ideas and stuff like that. And it makes me so much more like connected. And I'm not just like, so for a very long time, especially when I was a young man, I was always dressed in black, always looked like the ground because I didn't want to be bothered with other people. I know, for example, the big difference between me, I thought, and many other ADHD is that I like reading and I can read books. But the only reason why I can do this is because at a very young age I learned how to speed read. And it was not easy to learn this, but after a while I could do it. So I can't get bored reading a book because it's almost a physical challenge to get through this 200, 300, 400 pages in 2 hours. And that's really my goal. And I set this limit, like I want to, this book has so many pages, and I make the calculation, okay, I can do it in 2 hours and 30 minutes. And that's how I attack a book. And it's really like attacking, like if you want to conquer something, then you want to set your personal record, that's how I do it. So I challenge myself, and I really like have all this dopamine in my blood, and like, it's going to be a fantastic adventure. So, but before I thought like it's just me having this, and I'm not connecting with the world, and
it's horrible to be alone like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the worst place you can be in with anything that you might have a challenge in life. If you think you're the only one with this particular problem and there's nobody else in the world to support or to share, I mean, that's a horrible place to be. And this is why we're not just building a YouTube channel, but we really want to build a tribe with all you guys in it, sharing and helping and doing things together. I mean, not being alone, that is so important.
Yeah, because you can change everything as long as you're not alone.
Absolutely.
That's the only
Absolutely, yeah.
The only real obstacle in getting forward is being alone.
Yeah. I can give you my experience as a visually impaired person with a rare problem. For the longest time, I thought I was alone with this because I didn't know anyone else who had this. Nobody else knew anybody who had this, so it was like I'm the only person, and having to explain it over and over and over again, and everybody go, oh, and then having to answer stupid questions and all that kind of thing. And then indeed, at some point when social media came up, that was a wonderful experience because I discovered groups with all people just like me, having the same challenges and other solutions, and that was a real, real eye opener, if I can say it like that. And it's the same. You don't stay alone if you can. This is one of the advantages of technology and being connected with people all over the world. That's it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to you guys for being with us here. You can leave a comment. We're looking forward to reading you and your experiences with disorder or not a disorder.
We will read every comment.
Yes, absolutely. And also, please subscribe. You can make the help grow the channel and reach more and more people.
Beat the algorithm.
Yeah, let's beat the algorithm. And meanwhile, see you next time. Take care of yourself and bye for now.
Ciao.